everyone, I'm Mel Klein and you're watching another movie of the week. So this is our second one and the movie of the week is Pleasantville. So if you have not watched that yet, watch it now because there will be spoilers and we'll be discussing it. For those who don't know what movie of the week is, it's basically like a movie club, like a book club where every week there's a new movie and I discuss it here and you guys can discuss it in the comments because we can't really discuss it person to person, but this is a start, this is a way. And so the week before was Clue and this week it's Pleasantville, and at the end of every video I'll say the next week's movie for next week, so please follow along for that. But this week's is Pleasantville, so watch it now if you haven't. So this is my second time watching this film, and I knew, I can't remember exactly when I watched it for the first time, but it's been within the last couple of years, and I knew that as soon as I watched it, I was like, I definitely want to watch this movie again. The movie has a really great cast: Tobey Maguire, Reese Witherspoon, Paul Walker, my man from Shameless, William H. Macy, I think. And so yeah, it has a really great cast, and this was still, so this took place, it was interesting because I didn't really pick up on this the first time. The movie took place in 1998, and then the TV show took place in 1958. So that was like 40 years ago from 1998. And I actually took in college a history of the future class, and we learned that what people would do, basically it's what historians at a certain time in history thought what the future was going to be look like. Actually, it's dependent on what the world was like then. And we actually did, because there's the Flintstones, and there's these shows in the 50s where they have this push of the husband works and the mother stays home and cooks. And so with this movie, Toby's character, I'm not why is he obsessed at the beginning with the show Pleasantville? And I think it's just because he is, I guess, a little bit of a nerd. He's in the shadows and he's not seen, and so when life is unpredictable, but with that show it's very this is what happened, this is what happens, it's all easy, it's nice going, no one's killed, there's no real violence, everyone follows these unforsaken rules. And so I think it's just a simpler life for him where it's just easy and chill, and so he's very much into that show. And I think the show is also a really great way for him to escape. As someone who uses TV and movies to escape, I could understand that why he chose that show. I feel there could have been other shows he could have picked, but I mean, we've seen this in life and whatever, in movies and TV shows where the classic have to go along, I'm stuck in this universe. And so when Toby and Reese's characters get stuck, they kind of go along. And it's also very interesting that it's the exact episodes that Toby's character, I should learn their names, has seen before. I think I know it's Bud and Mary Sue in that universe, but still. Also, wait, so maybe the reason that Toby character really likes that universe is because the parents are together and they're happy. And we do see that in his universe, his parents aren't together, his mom's not really around. So I think maybe that's also a reason why he really likes the show. But yeah, it's interesting because Reese's character starts introducing them to things snacks and books, and that's when the colors start changing. And also I feel it's interesting. It's hard to explain, get to the real point, but in that time is when TV started becoming color. So in a way, that's another layer behind of it. It's when it starts going to color is change, and how this also very much in this time people were very against change. And so that's what this movie brings in. It's bringing about change and how people are against change. So over time people start changing and the color keeps colors more keeps getting in. You know what I'm saying. And yeah, the people of the town are we need to stop this, we need to put down these rules, there can be no this. And they start burning books, they start not letting people to go to that lover's lane or whatever it's called. And I think a lot of people, they're just scared of change because it's not what they're used to, and it takes away some of the, like, what the man expects, like to come home and have a nice meal. Like that scene where William's character goes to the bowling alley and he's like, there was no food at home, and they're like, oh my god, the worst thing, your wife didn't cook food for you. Like, so I think it's a way where it takes some power from those people that have too much power. And so that's why I think people are hesitant of change, because it takes away a lot of their power. And we see that in this movie where it's very clearly like this is happening and how they're stopping the change. And it was interesting what was making them turn into color. Like Reese's character only really turned into color when she like was reading books, and then Toby's character didn't turn into color once he was like dating that girl. Really, it only did when he like was able to stand up for himself, or stand up for someone else, and was able to punch someone. That's when he turned into color. And so I thought that was like also another interesting aspect of what made them finally like turn into color. And it's not exactly what you think, but it's what they need. I feel like in every decade there is a push to change and there's a push of resistance. And this movie shows how it was in the 50s and how then, and it was, but this movie, like, it didn't really show it in the 90s, but in the 90s there's also a push to change. And I kind of wonder, like, this movie showed a lot about, like, you know, difference in the world and how people are against it. And I wonder, because like in my opinion this movie is really great, but it's underrated. I feel like a lot of people don't know this movie, and I think maybe it's because it maybe was too early for its time or something. Like this was still the 90s when it came out, and it had all these like concrete elements. I mean, like this entire time I've only been really discussing like what the film means and like different elements, what like this is English question where like this color blue means this, like that's what I've been doing this entire time. So I wonder if it was like a little bit before its time, and now it's 20 plus years later and still some of these elements where people are so against change, and to watch this movie and maybe like realize like change is okay. Yeah, I think that in the end this movie is about change. It's not a perfect movie. I do have some things against it because it is very long. I feel like it drags out a little bit. I feel like they could have made it shorter because it like had a certain pace at the beginning, and then it gets just like long and like dramatic. And so the tone of the film, like it's at the beginning, maybe how they marketed it, it was supposed to be like a fun film, like, oh, they're going into another universe, like that usually is, but then it gets really dramatic. And so I think maybe like the tone or the speed of it kind of, I don't know, it just felt a little long. At the end, Reese's character just like stays in the universe. Like what? Like isn't his mom gonna be like, where is she? Like that doesn't make any sense, and like how is she supposed to get back? Also in the end it is unrealistic like going into the show, but I think it also shows that as much as you like think something is good, it's not. Like he was such obsessed, Toby's character was so obsessed with the show and was so into it and wanted that life, and then he was there and he was realizing, no, this is wrong. Like he would have rights, like people want more, people want different, and they want, this show keeps people in the box, it doesn't let them grow. Like that's the whole thing, is the show, there's no creativity, there's no liveliness, there's no books and like learning. And then someone started painting, like actually painting, and people are against that because it's an expression of who they are. People are not allowed to show who they are. So anyway, I think this movie you can learn a lot from, and I think that's what's important and why I wanted to have this movie, us talk about it, is because for one, I think this movie is underrated and a lot of people haven't seen it, and I think people should see it because you can learn a lot. And even though this took place in 1998 and most of the film took place in 1958, I feel like in 2023 it's still prevalent and we can still learn from it and like understand. So yeah, I'm probably forgetting a lot of things. I watched this movie the other day. I should have done this video right after I watched the movie, but I'm probably forgetting a lot of things. So comment below anything and I will respond or whatever. But yes, comment, write comments, I will respond, whatever it may be. So, and then next week's episode, or next week's video for movie of the week is Kramer versus Kramer 1979. So please watch that in preparation for next week's video so you can follow along. But yeah, in the end, please comment about Pleasantville and I will respond to your comments. And sorry, I kind of went on a lot of tangents here and didn't really talk much exactly about the film, just about what the film meant. And watch Kramer and Kramer for next week. Thank you and bye.